In this video I have an Audiosonic television. I guess it's probably around 1980 or something. They're quite a rare TV, these. I'm not sure if the last one, I think I've only really seen one of these before. Certainly one or two is the maximum number. Bit of a strange sort of TV. It's got this brand badging on it as well. And I actually thought they were a completely European TV. You've got push button on it, which is kind of a European thing on what is normally Audiosonic was a Kmart brand, so just a sort of low-end brand normally, mostly audio and clock radios and that sort of thing. And the back of it looks rather European. Got this brand Audiosonic. We've got, I think, French and German on there as well. It's got this weird sort of extra antenna socket that's not connected to anything. There's a tuner there. It looks like a European style large sort of tuner. Not much more than that. A couple of rabbit ears on top, which is what that bellend hanging off the back is for. I can see a rather large tuner in there with a green label on it, but it does look like, yeah, it is a Hitachi picture tube in there. I think this thing actually runs, so it's probably not a live chassis, which a lot of European ones were. But I don't think this is going to be an actual Euro set. No audio so far. There's a raster. Looking like it's a pretty good picture. Tube's still good in it, so that's good. It may mute on no signal. So 8 channels. We've got our colour contrast, brightness and vertical hold under there. And tuning controls, is that, yes, AFC. Yeah, it doesn't seem to do much. I thought it would flick that little thing, but oh, it just presses on a switch up in there. A little tool. So you can do your band switching and stuff usually. Clicks on those white bits in there. And the other end probably goes in those. And turns them, so that's better than trying to squeeze your fingers in there, but of course you can do that. But nice when they gave you a little tool to make it a little bit easier. So I guess we'll get the pattern generator on it. Oh, door just fell off. Oh, I don't think, oh, it is broken, it's missing one of the hinges there. Well, that'll make it easy to get to. Better select an actual channel. We're on band 1 or VL. And oh, yeah, we've got a little indicator there. We're heading up the band, so we should get that. Not the greatest tuner. A little noisy by the look of it. Scratchy volume. Nothing new there. That's about the best picture we're going to get out of it by the look of it. It might be something to do with our actually. It's probably a little bit better, and a little close to the TV probably doesn't help. Good red screen, so purity's fine. A little tiny bit of issue with the convergence, but that was probably like that from the factory. So definitely a worker. Now the only problem is the model number seems to have fallen off this thing. So that's what's inside. We've got a Hitachi 370 FTB22 tube. Doesn't ring a bell, that number. Great big tuner here, which looks like a very European kind of thing. Something 2000 on it. What's all this? Someone's... no idea what they've done there. MTS 2000 tuner, I think that is. You've got its own serial number and stuff. Don't know if that's a big Euro one or what the hell that is, but it's enormous. Probably one of the biggest tuners I've ever seen. It's ridiculously large. Be fair enough if it was stereo decoder to AV and everything else. You never know. They could. Well, looking at this, could that have AV out? I doubt it, but it's not impossible. Actually, looking at it, it's possible this tuner is a full... may convert everything right down to audio and video. composite video and audio. Pretty unlikely, but you never know. They may have made one that early. In later VCRs and stuff they had them. You had a tuner pack that also just basically came out in AV. Oh, I've got a Brandt Audiosonic Color Portable E10 and serial number. That's fallen off now. PO, so that's what would have been on the back originally. So I don't know if that says anything about what sort of set it is. I did look up online for manuals and stuff, and there were these Brandt TVs around, at least in the 90s. So the Brandt, and there are modern LCD ones, but they were all like they were actually Euro chassis, the Telefunken type. Geez, what were they? I think they were ICC chassis or something, whatever those. They used them in Telefunkens and different stuff. I think they're Thompson chassis actually. But not the greatest things on earth, but that looks rather European. We're going to Euro cap, Euro, whatever they are. But the rest of this looks, what have we got? Hitachi output transistor, horizontal output transistor, unknown line output transistor, transformer. Doesn't necessarily look like anything. We've got some of those blue Matsushita capacitors. We've got NEC transistors for probably the vertical output. TA Toshiba, Hitachi chips. Looks pretty Japanese. I wonder if this is a Taiwanese. It looks a bit early to be a Korean, and it definitely isn't a Daewoo, Samsung or Gold Star as far as I can tell, though someone over there, I think was, not sure if it was Taiwan or Korea, were making some early Princess televisions that were a copy of a Toshiba, and they're a very poorly built copy of a Toshiba, but they came from somewhere, but I never did take any notice of what country, if it said they were made in. But yeah, I don't know what this is. We do have a mains transformer, one of those sort of E-core type flat ones, so it is isolated chassis at least. And I doubt we're going to have any information on the chassis, but this doesn't look like a Korean one to me. And Koreans, I think, normally use Korean parts. You're going to have Korean capacitors, so this actually looks like a lot of Japanese parts. I doubt it's a Japanese set, but maybe it is. Certainly be unusual for, and that tuner doesn't look Japanese. We've got a TPH43 94VO deflection on the board there. Audio and sound IF, B plus adjustment. No, the kind of construction doesn't give away anything. We've got a 2SD 920. Well, that's an interesting one. It's got a dollar symbol on the transistor. I wonder who made that. That's your power regulator. I don't think I've ever seen a dollar symbol as the manufacturer's. We've got a program push button board. It's got SU-8008. You've got an SU7902 on this little, is it an east-west? No, it's not. I'm going to say it's not going to be an east-west pincushion correction because the mains goes in. So that's a mains filter, caps, and inductor. Definitely not. It looks like a pincushion transducer. But this is inline tube. Modern enough, I'd say at least 1980. I don't think it'll be much later because they pretty much went, especially Kmart, went to Princess TVs and stuff, and later Audiosonic, which was the same company, and which were Korean, and then with either LG and Samsung or later Chinese junk. Absolutely horrible things they became in the 90s. But the earlier Princesses were quite good because they were just Samsung or Gold Star, LG rebadged. But I don't see much else to give anything away yet. Definitely says Japan Matsushita on that cap. Yeah, it doesn't quite look, this an SU301 board. Doesn't quite look Japanese, but Hitachi C2611 transistors on the neck board for the RGB drivers. Shame the labels are missing off the thing, or some of this stuff never even had the country of origin on it anyway. But yeah, interesting little TV. These were, I'm sure I've seen a TV in this cabinet before. When I first saw it, my memory of it was, oh, it's some horrible European thing that's probably a piece of junk. But turns out it's actually Japanese parts in an unknown chassis with possibly a big European tuner there. Be nice to find a circuit for it, but without a model number I'm kind of stuffed, and even the old fault lists and stuff from Australian colour TV problems, and with all the manufacturers and stuff, there's no listing for Audiosonic, probably because they're getting too late. I don't remember actually seeing an Audiosonic branded TV at all, because it was normally hi-fi and sort of small appliance type stuff, small electronic appliance anyway, Walkmans and boom boxes, clock radios. I think they even might have done some telephone type stuff. And yeah, shoebox cassette recorders, that kind of stuff that was cheap at Kmart. And normally, yeah, Kmart, you'd get a twin or single rotary VHF tuner TV from them at this sort of era, because it was, you know, basically the cheaper end of the market is what they sold. But it might be worth doing some research on that tuner. It's all sold at Shutter. That's not a Philips tuner, is it? I don't think it is for that number, but soldered on covers on tuner is reminding me, I think it was the Philips 2B chassis, had something similar length, but I don't think it was as high as that, and it would have been a fair bit later than this. Oh, here we go. What do we got here? The yoke assembled in Malaysia. Well, that's an interesting, a 2809 yoke. Now, assembled in Malaysia doesn't mean much. It could have even come with the tube. I forget what a Hitachi yoke really looks like. But I don't think there were many Malaysian products in electronics back in those days. I can't see a single other thing to give anything away. The focus pot has some sort of HDK, I think it's pretty standard maker, but it does actually have some a screen focus, does have some Japanese or similar characters on there. Most likely is Japanese. Okay, the tube is made by Hitachi Singapore. So it's certainly, we've got Malaysian, Singaporean, Japanese. That could be an Asian tuner. I don't know what that manufacturer is. Shame no one put brands on half these things. And what about the transformer? Does it say anything? Usually a transformer has something stamped on it, but that one doesn't seem to. Oh, the speaker, that's another thing we can look at. Speaker, it doesn't really say anything useful. It's not a Matsushita one. That's about all I can say. Yeah, this aluminium heatsinks normally weren't the way the Japanese did it, I don't think, but some of that does look a bit Samsung-like or something with those kind of holes in it. I remember seeing those square holes with the two little tabs in something. I'm not sure if they're punching something out there that they were using elsewhere or what the idea of that was. But certainly a rarer model. When I saw that, curiosity got the better of me, and I had to know what the hell it actually was, and I unfortunately still don't actually know. Oh well, but it's good to see something a bit different, because yeah, these were not something you saw very often. But I definitely, the shape of the cabinet and the back cover looks European, and I've definitely seen that back cover on a portable before. Kind of weird the way they've had an antenna socket original. I wonder, oh, that's probably, maybe they had a twin rotary version, because they just change, you should be able to just change the top half of the front panel. They probably put a separate socket on the back rather and blacked off the hole that's cut out for this one. This one doesn't seem to line up that well, so maybe that was a bit of an afterthought. They've used a cabinet and converted a, yes, you normally, do we have a join there? No, I don't think we do. Sometimes you could just change the top half of the front panel. This one looks like you probably had to change the whole piece. I think the Sanyos were the ones, one of the main ones for making it in a two-piece front panel. so they could just use the same speaker and volume and stuff, and then just swap this top bit between single VHF, double UHF, or usually they just use the blanking plate on the UHF hole, or push button. If there's two models, a rotary one and a push button one, normally they just have an IF out of the tuning board part here, which often they'd mount a separate board up on the front here, and then they could just plug it into the same main board. That was the usual way to do it, which is what you would expect to find. But they've actually left parts off the main board in this one. Parts inside a metal surround, which would suggest they possibly have left the IF out, though I can see, I think, a sound filter there, though whether that means it is still at IF level or not, I'm not sure. But there's no IF cans, there's just one near the colour. It's got a separate little daughter board for the colour by the look of it. Just trying to work out where the tuner originally came in at. The IF. Ah, yeah, the original board's actually got room for a saw filter there. Some sort of IF can. Actually, yeah, I can see where a circuit board mounting RCA socket would have gone right under the front corner of the tube. So I'm betting this actually has AV coming out of, and we've got 3 shielded cables, but I think we've got AV coming out of this tuner. So if I unplug the degaussing, you can get the chassis sitting here like that. So we'll hook it back up. So we've got, is it a connector where the IC should go? I think that's what we got, which would make sense. And it's replacing, yeah, some of the pins of the chip. So on this IC 101, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pins maybe. That look right. Not sure which ones are which, but with an oscilloscope we should be able to find out. So we look under this bit of shielding here. Nothing, that's probably ground as well. Nothing. Nothing. Ooh, we got something there. It's all over the place. There we have it, a nice staircase pattern. So that's video. And I assume somewhere here we should have audio. Oh, we've got some rubbishy video. Probably have to go a lot lower. Should be a 1 kilohertz. Why is there some other rubbishy video there? Here's another, a dirty staircase. Well, it's got to be audio, isn't it? Maybe not. Maybe there is no bloody so the audio is going somewhere else maybe. PIF and AFC, so picture IF. That's our SIF here somewhere, well, the SIF. That's the output via a transformer, I would guess. So possibly we've actually got video, but not, because that was the top one. The other one's the second up from the bottom, but that's got that other rubbish on it. So I wonder, and then we've got a 5.5 filter here. So I don't, so we must still have a, well, it says sound IF, doesn't it? So what we've got is audio, which is just video basically. There's a second video output by the look of it through a different bit of filtering or something. Isn't that it? Somewhere around there is what feeds into our sound IF. It's got to be that line there, I think. Even though I'm not getting much on it. Yeah, that goes in an IF can. Somewhere out of this chip is going to be our audio. Could be it. There it is, probably. Second pin from that end on that side. We've definitely got some 1 kilohertz looking stuff around there. Kills it when I put the oscilloscope on, whatever that is. probably the IF in or something. Or that pin, so that's probably the two IFs coming in on those top, well, second and third pin. Not sure which end of this chip is pin 1. So it's not quite an AV ready set, but it does have video input. Whether that's the right level or anything, I guess we can check that. Might be a smart idea just to see roughly what peak to peak we got there. What do we want? 1 volt, 1 volt of division. I think that is 1 volt of division. Damn close. Yeah, so we've got a pretty standard 1 odd volt peak to peak of video there. So that is probably ready just to stick an AV input in. So if I keep this, I probably will want to hook it up in some way. So that would actually be easier if you can actually just use an AV input rather than a modulator, and of course cleaner picture. Oh well, that's interesting. Who would have known this would be an AV ready TV? Yeah, maybe later than 1980, but I would be surprised if it is. It's either late 70s or early 80s, I would think, going by the size of the cabinet and look of everything else. But there we have it, something a bit different, and yeah, surprisingly got a video input ready to go. Audio can be a bit more difficult because even though you can hook into the thing after that IF chip's been in action, there's a fair chance that the volume control is just a DC control to that IC. So the only place to tap in is after the volume control, which means you have no control on the volume other than externally, so that can be a bit of a problem. But at least I can get probably a picture on this thing via direct injection of video, which might be good enough if it's just a display piece. One thing I just noticed here, it looks like it's actually got a little lock for the door there. It looks like it's actually got a little lock. I've just realised what that thing is. You turn that and the door doesn't open anymore. Maybe to stop the kids getting in there, I guess, is probably what that's for. So that's, I'm just wondering what that little aluminium die-cast type looking thing in there is. But oh, there you go. I don't think I've ever seen that on a TV before. Well, that's an interesting feature. And yeah, I mean, a kid could probably work out how to turn that, but it is just a small flat blade screwdriver, or maybe that little tool, does that do anything? No, it doesn't look like it does. I wonder if this thing came with some sort of little key or something, you never know. Most likely would have had some sort of tool with it, I guess. Well, that's certainly a different feature. Put that one on the shelf, and eventually I'll get a display of these things set up. So thanks for watching.